Good morning, friends. This is Mrs. Houseman, and today I'm going to be reading to you a story called What Do You Do with a Chance? The author of this story is Kobe Yamada. The illustrator is May Beeson. Now, when we're talking about an author, so Kobe Yamada, is the person who writes the words in the story. The illustrator, May Beeson, is the one who drew the pictures that are in the story, or they may have painted the pictures or done chalks, used a different medium, but they're the ones who created the images within the story. So we have an illustrator and an author who came together to write this beautiful book. And we've read a few of their books in the past, but this is a new one that I wanted to share with you today. So as we're reading, I want you to think about two things. First, I want you to think about the character and what their traits are, what they're going through, what their experiences are, and how that might connect to your life. The second thing I want you to do is think about the learner profile. So which learner profile attribute do you see as we're reading the story? And what do you think the author's purpose is in teaching us about this learner profile attribute? So, learner profile attribute and character. That's what we're going to focus on as we read today. I might pause to look at some vocabulary, but when we get to the end of the story, we're going to just talk a little bit about what we see. So, now to begin. What do you do with a chance? One day, I got a chance. It just seemed to show up. It acted like it knew me, as if it wanted something. I didn't know why it was here. What do you do with a chance? I wondered. It fluttered around me. It brushed up against me. It circled me as if it wanted me to grab it. I started to reach for it, but I was unsure and pulled back. And so, it flew away. I thought about it a lot. I wish I had taken my chance. I realized I wanted it, but I still didn't know if I had the courage. I want to stop and think about this word courage. What does it mean to be courageous? When we think about our learner profile, where do we see that word? Courage. Okay, I'm just going to take a moment. I want you to think about that and share with a friend or a grown-up, maybe a sibling, or if you have a stuffy nearby. What does it mean to be courageous? What does the word courage mean to you? Now we're going to move on. When another chance came around, I wasn't so sure, but I decided to try. I went to reach for it, but I missed and fell. I was embarrassed. I felt foolish. It seemed like everyone was looking at me. I decided I never wanted to feel this way again. So after that, whenever a chance came along, I ignored it. And the more I ignored them, the less they came around. Until one day, I noticed that I hadn't seen a chance in quite a while. It was as if they had all disappeared. I started to worry. What if I don't get another chance? I know I acted like I didn't care, but the truth was I did. I still wanted to take a chance, but I was afraid, and I wasn't sure if I would ever be brave enough. Then I thought, maybe I don't have to be brave all the time. Maybe I just need to be brave for a little while at the right time. I realized it was up to me. I promised myself that if I ever got another chance, I wasn't going to hold back. If I got another chance, I was going to be ready. Then, one seemingly ordinary day, I saw something shining far off in the distance. Is it possible? I hoped. Could this be my chance? I had to find out. I ran as hard and as fast as I could toward it. I don't know how to explain it, but the second I let go of my fears, I was full of excitement. I want you to stop and think, have you ever felt this way before? Maybe you were scared to learn how to swim for the first time, but once you learned and you got in the water and you had some success, you were excited. Or maybe you were learning how to ride a bike, or even with reading. A lot of us are nervous that we're not sure if we're going to be able to read the words and understand what we're reading, but the more we practice and the more we learn and the more we let go of that fear, we get excited because we find that we can do things. So I want you to think, how can you connect to these feelings that this character is having? Okay, let's continue. It wasn't that I was no longer afraid, but now my excitement was bigger than my fear. As I got closer, I could see that this was a really huge chance. But this time I was ready. As it came by, I reached out and grabbed it. I held on with all my might. It felt so good to soar, to fly, to be free. I now see that when I hold back, I miss out. And I don't want to miss out. There's just so much I want to see and do and discover. So, what do you do with the chance? Do you take it because it just might be the start of something incredible? And that is the end of our story. So friends, in the beginning we talked about two things. I wanted you to think about the character, and I wanted you to think about the learner profile attributes. So take a moment, talk to a grown-up, a friend, a stuffy, a dog, whatever you have close by, and talk to them about what learner profile attribute do you think this character is demonstrating. What is he learning and growing in? And how is he reflecting? And then I want you to think about the character himself. So just take a moment, and then I'll share some of my thoughts and my ideas. All right. So friends, what I see when I read this story, I see a little boy who is like a lot of us, even like a lot of grown-ups, who sometimes are afraid to do new things, to try new things. And when we're looking at the learner profile, we're looking really at being a risk taker. And what does it mean to be a risk taker? And trying to do something and being courageous. It doesn't mean that you have to be super brave or that you have to try something new every single day, right? That you have to take every chance that comes by. But you need to make sure that you're trying and that you're willing to. Even if it's just trying a new food, or if it's trying to play a new game that you've never played before, if it's trying to learn how to skip, learn how to read, working on your writing, whatever the risk might be to you is often a risk worth taking if it's going to help you grow as a person. And this character needed to take his chance so that he could grow. And it's okay to be afraid. We all are. Even grown-ups get nervous about taking chances. And sometimes we do feel like people are looking at us, but a lot of times they aren't. A lot of times that's just us feeling a little bit nervous and insecure and letting that fear get to us. But he was able to become a risk taker, and when you see how it changed, I can look at the look on his face here and infer that he's not very happy, right? And I can look at the text and make these inferences that this character is going through a lot right now. He is not happy with himself. He doesn't have the joy that he has when he decides to take a chance. I want you to look at the look on his face and infer, how does he feel now? It's a much different experience than when he was here and he was sad about not having chances anymore, or being afraid that he wasn't going to have any chances. So think about connections you can make with this character. Think about a risk that you are willing to take, or a chance you are willing to take to try something new this week. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.